So what is going on, guys? I am Black18. Welcome back to another video where today we are back with a Zombies Q&A, the series where I take your comments from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel, but let's get into it. Here we go, and enjoy. So the first question of today says, hey BOA, is the tree boss from COD Mobile the same monster that is outside of the map in Stamin when you get to round 50? Okay, so no, it's not the same boss. The creature that we can find outside of the map on Stamin we are still not sure about. We don't know what it is, since we can only see it from a distance. If you go closer to this monster in no clip, you can see that it's just some squiggly lines. It's obviously not the same shape as the tree boss, or Juboko as it's actually called from COD Mobile, so no, they're not the same creatures. We don't know what the one in Stamin is, some kind of sea creature linked to Cthulhu, while the tree boss that we find in COD Mobile is this. I only ever played this game mode a couple of times. I think they've actually removed it now. If I can remember correctly, he has something to do with Division 9 and Group 935, since we know the map takes place in Shinonuma, along with parts of Stamin as well. They are both merged. It was actually pretty fun, and he isn't the only boss that was in this game. There was the Abomination, which was a scorpion type creature. Juboko is more of a tree. He kind of reminds me of the Thrashers, especially the Takio boss fight, but yeah, there we go. The next question from Caleb says, how does the sign in Newtown know when you kill zombies? An interesting question that I haven't thought about. It doesn't seem to make any sense. As far as I'm aware, this sign isn't controlled by anyone. Newtown is a bit of a weird map in its own right. We have perks falling from the sky. It is taking place at the same time as the events on Moon. And we have a sign that counts how many zombies are on the map. Yeah, this is one I can't answer. I would have to say it has nothing to do with story, because it doesn't seem to make sense. It's not really an Easter egg either. It's just a cool feature, something you have to ignore story-wise. Believe it or not, there are still actually some people that don't know what this does. So now you know, but yeah, how this sign knows how many zombies are around. If you had it on a map like Der Reese or Der Eisendrache, a map that Group 935 worked at, the location where they operated, you could say somehow Group 935 found a way to link it to zombies. They found a way to get it to tell them how many zombies were in the area, which would be a pretty useful device for them, but it's on Newtown. This is a nuclear testing site. We do know that the Americans and Broken Arrow operated here. They were creating their own versions of the undead, so maybe it has something to do with them, but I doubt it. That's a question from Ablazer Rumble 76 says, this has been bothering me. Why are there different colours in the Stamin Up machine? Well, I've never really thought about this. It is something I've noticed, but obviously when you get a bottle of Stamin Up, it's yellow. However, if you go up to the machine itself, you can see inside there are different coloured bottles. We have purple, red, yellow, orange, and green. Yet the only one you can get out of this is yellow. Why are there different colours? Why can't we use them? Are the other colours different tastes? Of course they all do the same thing, but why are there multiple options? You can see on the machine it says now available in 5 delicious colours, but you can only get one, and this is the only perk machine that does this. All of the rest just have the one colour. Purple would usually be PhD Flopper, red would be Juggernog, yellow Stamin Up, orange Double Tap, and green Speed Cola. But in this instance they're all Stamin Up, so I'm not too sure why we have multiple colours yet we can only get one. Another question to do with perks from Pizza says, hey BOA, how come you have to turn the power on for the whole map but Quick Revive is already on? So in almost every zombies map there are a few exceptions, one of them being Shinonuma. That map doesn't have a power switch, so you just go to certain areas, open the door, and then the random perk machines appear. But on every other map, before you can access and buy the perk machine, you have to turn on the power. But this rule doesn't apply to Quick Revive. Thinking off the top of my head, there might be one exception for this perk as well, but most, if not all of the time, Quick Revive is always on. So why doesn't it work the same way as the other machines? Now, I don't believe there's a story reason behind this. Gameplay wise, it's just to make it easier. Quick Revive is one of the perks that you will usually find in the starting area or pretty close to there. If it was far away or you did have to wait to turn on the power, sometimes it can take up to, I don't know, round 6 or 7 to turn on the power in certain maps, even longer. So if you go down before that round, you're not going to have Quick Revive, so it all becomes a waste. I guess Quick Revive works this way because it just makes the game easier, and if you're struggling to turn on the power switch, at least you can get Quick Revive, so if you do go down, there's a better chance of you progressing. But yeah, I don't think there's a story reason behind it. It's something we have to ignore. Zenithy says, hey BOA, I have this question that has been bothering me for a long time. What happens when you quit the game? Like, you don't die, what happens? By the way, love your videos. So pretty much you're asking what happens when you quit a game of zombies. I presume you're asking this for story reasons. So far on the channel we've taken a look at a few questions that are very similar to this one, like what happens when you die in zombies, what happens when you go down, what happens when the game ends normally, but not what happens when you quit the game. So I suppose this is the last of the, I guess, trilogy or series of this type of question. This is the final of the set. Surprisingly for those other questions, we've had multiple outcomes. We know there are story related answers. For example, if you die normally and the game ends, the cycle just resets. We know every time our characters die, they are sent back to the beginning. But what does it mean if we quit a game? Let's just say we're partway through doing an Easter egg, or you're at early rounds or later rounds. If you suddenly quit, does it mean anything for the story? And unlike the other answers where they do have a meaning, I don't think this one does. I believe if we quit a game, everything that we just did doesn't count. It's almost like it doesn't exist. It's only when our characters die is when the cycle resets. So if we quit, you just have to pretend that game never happened. Looking to see what happens if you quit in game though, on BO3, once you quit the game, first off, the character that you are playing as disappears, and then all of the zombies stand still and their heads pop. The heads explode, and that's the end of the game. We then see, just like every other time, we get the cutscene of the trees where eventually we are sent back to the forest. On Black Ops 4, a similar thing happens. Again, you quit the game, your character disappears. However, this time the zombies don't stand immediately still. They will actually continue to roam around, where eventually they stand still, the heads pop off, and the game ends. On BO4, we don't have a cutscene of the trees. We are just sent straight back to the forest. So there's nothing really interesting or out of the ordinary. We still don't know what or where the forest is 100%, so maybe that could be for another video. You guys put your ideas in the comment section below. But yeah, that's what happens if you quit a game of zombies. In my opinion, you have to completely write it off and just act like that game never happened. Unlike where you die normally, the game did happen, it's just that the next time you restart, the cycle has reset. The next question of the day from Ant the Zombie Slayer says, hello BOA, sorry for the accent. Can you have an accent in writing? Anyway, continuing, you say, my question is, well, how would you change the zombie story? Like when Moon blows up in BO1, it makes Transit in BO2 look like it was part of the timeline, and I can't really tell what you're saying. Basically, you're asking me if I could change anything about the zombie storyline, what would it be? Well, the first thing is, maybe a lot of people would change this, is the ending. What we got for Black Ops 4 and Tag der Toten, whilst yes, over time, it's gotten better, it's made more sense. It feels like maybe that was the best way to end the zombie story, but the first time we ever saw that Tag der Toten ending, or even played the map, when we didn't get a boss fight with Dr. Monty, that's what a lot of people wanted, that's what I would have loved to have seen. When we never actually saw Primus, Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey, along with Ultimus Richthofen, travel to Dr. Monty's house, just like we all thought we were going to do because we had this loading screen. It shows them in front of Monty's house. We thought in DLC 4 we'd finally confront him in Algotha and have some epic battle. We didn't get that. Instead, in the end, Ultimus and Primus died, the rest of the characters were banished back to the Dark Ether, and Samantha and Eddie were left to walk off into a new world. Like I said, over time it's gotten a little bit better, but it just wasn't that epic grand final of the Ether story. So I would definitely change the ending of Ether, Tag der Toten. I would also say maybe I'd change the end of Revelations as well. In my opinion, that cutscene was a little bit lame, even though it does make sense, even though it shows the cycle restarting, and it's a perfect gateway into the BO4 story. During that time, I don't know, it wasn't that exciting. I definitely don't think it was shocking, it was something you would expect. Apart from that though, there's nothing major. I would have liked to have seen Peter McCain more. He was present in the Revelations trailer and the Gorod Kurovi intro cutscene. He was also a big part of the Alpha Omega Easter egg, but we never actually got to really see him as a character. More of him would have been cool. Also, in Black Ops 4, seeing more of Dr. Monty, because I don't think there was actually anything new from him in that game. It was all in BO3. I am aware that they probably couldn't get his voice actor back, but we never saw anything new from him in terms of cutscenes or audio. All we got was cartoons. But I wouldn't change Blowing Up the Moon, that was epic, even though it had an effect on a lot of the Black Ops 2 maps being lava everywhere or the maps destroyed. I still wouldn't change it. So there's not a whole lot, really. It's just how it all ended. Maybe it will get even better over time, but I just think they could have done so much more. So there we go. That is it, guys. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. Thank you guys for watching anyway. Make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you in the next video. Leave your questions down below, and until then, goodbye.